All
First
right.
of all, what is what is Secrets of the Barrowmaze?
Okay. Secrets of the Barrowmaze. Well, first off, Secrets of the Barrowmaze is a campaign that I am running for Mastermind. I'm running it West Marches style, but it is and I'll get into what that is in a second. I mean, the funny thing is you asked that question and there's a lot to unpack here. So I'm just like
Sure.
already bowled over at the
Let's
scope of the
go. Let's
question. I'm
unpack.
just like, all right, let's it's like, oh man, this is a whole steamer trunk full of stuff here all of a sudden. Okay. So Barrow Maze is a adventure. It's a campaign written by Dr. Greg Gillespie. And I want to give full credit to him. This is his material, his IP. I'm just running it and making some, modifications as DMs do, for each for their own unique campaign worlds and stuff like that. So I'm going through and expanding on what he wrote. Now, what he wrote was the 300 plus room mega dungeon, plus an entire surface region, with which is a whole duchy. Yeah, duchy. I think it's duchy. I'm sure somebody in
Sounds
the
right.
comments will correct me. Uh, the uh, and he's created this whole incredible region that you could drop into almost any campaign world. And yeah, it. I mean, I printed out the source book. I had it's right here. I hid it from my cats, but I have this I did a whole binder that's all the material. Like this is a ton of stuff. So yeah, it's a mega dungeon campaign. So 300 plus rooms, the Barrow Maze. It is old school mentality. I'm running it with fifth edition, D&D fifth edition. This is originally written as a part of the old school revolution. So it's written for some of the clone systems that are out there, the systems that clone OD&D, basic D&D. But I've got the 5e version because as much as I love exploding dice and everything of 3.5 and previous editions, I hate calculating THACO. But also 5e is like the entry point for a lot of folks getting into the hobby now. And like I said, I like crunch, but I also like the ease of access that 5e provides. So we're running at 5e. Um, yeah, and if you've never played a mega dungeon campaign, uh, it's a gigantic sprawl and it's a continuous sprawl. And every session, you kind of like uncover a little bit more of the map and explore just a little bit more. And then you retreat, you set up camp, you do something. And then the dungeon itself, there's a whole system in place where the dungeon itself is a living ecosystem. So the room that you explored 3 sessions ago, when you're backtracking and trying to escape because you pissed off the Balrog at the end of the hallway, there might be something new living in that room, that the DM randomly generated that might jump out and try to trip you up and make you Balrog breakfast. I mean, so this is a fascinating environment. I've had multiple parties come through and like get into the first couple of rooms, and everybody's only gotten like so far into the dungeon so far. They've only gotten a couple of rooms in because they keep running into things that keep restocking, that keep taking over the areas that have been explored in the dungeon, and everybody kind of like dips a toe in and then retreats. Only recently have I had a group that's actually been like, okay, we're going to do some hardcore clearing out, and they've actually managed to start, making some headway and progress. But that's for dungeon crawlers. There's also a whole bunch of intrigue going on in the surface world with a lineage issue with the leadership in the duchy. There's different parties of raiders and thieves that are attacking adventurers. There's bounties out. There's contracts you can take. I mean, there's a whole living, breathing world. Oh, and I almost forgot. In a whole nother section of the map, there's a whole nother dungeon module hidden in there. Now that's something that I did myself, but there is a whole set of ruins hidden away in a forest somewhere on the map. And if you wind up finding that and stumbling into that region, you will be in a whole separate module that's not even Barrowmaze. But I put it on the map because I want people to come in and explore. Um, so yeah, the this is meant to be years and years and years of gameplay for a single group. It's meant to get you from like level 1 to level 14 or 15. Running it in a greatly expanded fashion with the West Marches campaign means that this is a more it's okay. Well, let me talk about what a West Marches campaign is real quick. Yeah, I'm again unpacking everything.
Sure.
We've talked about what a mega dungeon is. We've talked about what Barrowmaze is, and this is, like I said, this is a fantastic world, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. Uh, but a West Marches campaign is a drop-in, drop-out style of play, sort of like a organized play like D&D Adventurers League. You can uh, basically, well, we've got a Discord set up. And when you sign up to join the campaign, you get put into the Discord, and you'll be in there with your fellow players. There's a couple of different channels. One of them is the Early Grave Tavern. The Early Grave being the tavern located within the campaign world. That is not the name of the tavern in the book, but since the name of the tavern in the book is a little blue, I changed it up. Yeah, Early Grave, you get in there, you start chatting with your fellow players. Ideally, what's supposed to happen is that you're in there talking in character with your fellow players, and you compare notes on the different adventures that you've had. And it's like, oh, wow, I found that door at the end of the hallway. Well, I found this key over here, and that might open that locked door. We should go down and check it out. And there's no regular playtime for a West Marches campaign because you're dealing with a much larger pool of players. We're talking about, ideally, I want a pool of about 50 active people. Comparing notes and talking on Discord. And it's like, if you guys, put a couple of leads together and figure out a plot hook, what you could do is compare your calendars, muster a table, check my calendar, and book me with at least 24 hours of notice to either go down to the Barrows or take a contract or follow up on some other lead. And I will happily run that for you. And the way to facilitate this is that Barrowmaze is great because there's a hard limit on the safe time that you could be down in the Barrows. There's no such thing as a safe time to be down in the Barrows because it's literally a 300 plus room dungeon full of undead. So there's never a safe time, but you never want to get caught there after dark. So every adventure begins and ends in town. So you don't have like my party got stranded out in the wilderness, and Tommy can't be here next Tuesday when we want to run again. So how are we going to do it? No. There's none of that. Like every adventure is its own self-contained session that starts and ends in town. You go out, you have your adventure, and you come back. And most of this is randomly generated. I have tons of tables and everything here. I'm generating the adventure as we go on the fly, which you can actually behold on my Monday night Twitch stream, but I'll get to that in a second. And man, God, there's just so much about this. Because it's all randomly generated, it's unscaled. So I did have a party recently, mostly of level 2 adventurers. There was 4 of them who ran into a trio of, I want to say, Huekivas, I believe, which are very, very, very nasty undead. One of them should have tore through this party by itself, and they had to take on 3. They retreated. They managed to get lucky with a turn undead check and retreat. But yeah, this is one of those where this is not skilled. The monsters know what they're doing. I literally have a book of monster tactics called The Monsters Know What They're Doing, and I follow that to the T. It's based on a very popular blog on monster tactics. I also have an AI system from Kickstarter. That is all monster tactics and monster aggression and stuff like that, and different conditions for you killed one zombie, great, the other, here's what the rest of them do as a retaliation and stuff like that. So I try to take my own personal biases and my own personal thoughts on this out of adjudicating the game as much as possible and leave it to the dice. Which, by the way, all of my die rolls as the DM, all of my combat die rolls, I should say, some of the social challenges are kept behind the screen, but all of my combat rolls are in the open. So if I roll 4 critical hits on you consecutively, you're sucking up 4 critical hits. I can't retcon that. That actually happened to a party member, and that was quite disastrous. The other thing is, because of the fact that this is a OSR, old school revolution style adventure, a lot of folks argue that 5th edition is very soft, very player friendly. It's really tough to kill anybody because the party has high ACs and other saves and stuff like that, and the bounded accuracy means that monsters that are typically designed for higher level encounters could still hypothetically be hit and fought by lower level adventurers with a degree of success. OSR brings back these monsters will effing kill you. And there's things in here like traps and spells that are save or die. And it's typically in fifth edition and some of these other things, some of these other later editions of the game, you get a lot of effects and things that are much more like save or suck, or save, or you get like a minute worth of saving throws or whatever else before you're dead and sorry. Nah, this is insta death. This is very old school. So I recommend having a backup character in the wings for your next session, just in case, because you never know when you're going to bite it. Some folks may just meet a tragic end here. Yeah. And like I said, it's all randomly generated. We did have a party once that was a party of level ones, ran into a freaking dinosaur in the swamps on the way to the Barrows. This is, and there has to be a degree of adventurer IQ when playing this. This can be beginner friendly. But you're going to want to pair with somebody who knows what they're doing. And the DM will not save you. The dice will determine your fate. I will, this is meant to be a meat grinder, and it's meant to be a challenge. It's meant to be something that people can experience and really test their DM IQ. I should also point out that there are tons of secret doors and other things, and the parties that have been through so far just keep blowing by all this secret hidden stuff, and I'm just like, okay, you missed out. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun, crunchy dungeon crawl experience, Barrowmaze is where it's at. And I also do try to layer in some interesting role play and some colorful characters as well, but this is by and large for folks who want to make the math rocks go click clack and crack some heads. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that was a very complete answer to my question. I'm trying to think of like what other questions I have, but I feel like you answered so many of them with
sorry.
No, that's great. You're doing my job for me.
Well, I'm incredibly passionate about this campaign.
I can tell. Yeah.
I think it's I love the fact that it is continuous. I have detailed notes on what happens in each room as each party goes through. So you will, like we had one party come through and find an obscene bit of graffiti on a wall that they took umbrage to, so they scratched it out and replaced it. And that's what people are finding now as they go in, is the new graffiti. We had a situation where somebody decided to leave a cart of supplies they thought hidden away in a safe spot on the surface behind this barrow mound. They came back, the cart was gone because another party had found it and made off with it. I had to laugh because we had one session where this party was escorting this nobleman, on a noble quest to go and explore the Barrows. Dude turned out to be a coward and ran at the first sign of trouble, and escaped off into the swamps by himself, got eaten by a pack of wolves. They didn't go searching for the body, and they never got paid. But the next group, and I actually did roll this randomly, the next group actually did find the corpse and got their payout, So like there's, lots of, I want to have a continuous, I want continuity between sessions, so people do feel like that they are leaving their mark on the world. And sometimes the most random stuff that you're going to discover and find out is stuff that other players have set up for you.
That's awesome. So it's like, even though the stories are very self-contained and you can pretty much go in, be like, okay, I have time for a session now. I'm going to, this is what I want to do. There's still features that sort of weave and connect with each other and other groups as well. So are you finding, like, are people, as much as, maybe you don't don't know this, but like people from different groups, are they going like, oh, that was your thing from your session? Or
we're still building up a lot of the we're still building up a lot of the presence. I mean,
they'll figure that out. Yeah.
The campaign hasn't officially launched yet. It's officially launching at the end of this week. But I do have folks from my regular Monday night stream playing on stream with me on Monday nights right now. We've temporarily put a pause on our campaign, Brutes in the Shackled City, and we've changed out a couple of folks. Some of my players from Brutes wanted to take a break, catch a breather, have a Monday night back to themselves, and kind of catch up with life. But we've subbed in a few new folks, and they are now playing a group of adventurers inspired by early 90s Saturday morning cartoons. So they're playing a group called the Turtle Tonys. A bunch of turtles that talk like this, and they've already infected the world with anachronisms such as this pastry called a savory pastry called a za. It is cheese and tomato crushed on a lovely flat bread with some oil on there and a little bit of herbs and spices. And it's cooked in the actually in game. Legitimately, the major export of the village of Helix is peat moss used in ovens. So these zas are now cooked in the peat ovens. So they're now peat zas. And it's become the running gag of the campaign. So the Turtle Tonys are currently exploring and doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff in the campaign world. They've taken a few bounties. They've done some trade caravan escort missions and stuff like that. And now they're getting hardcore into exploring the Barrows. And one of their big things is mapping the maze. And that is going to be a major collaborative effort that everybody can take part in together, is mapping out this gigantic, this 300 plus room mega dungeon, but also mapping the region itself, because in game there hasn't been a cartographer to go through the swamps in several generations, and that's something that the Iron Guard family, the family that rules the area, is commissioning as someone to go through and do a updated map of the region. So yeah, hopefully that's something that multiple parties can collaborate on. We really want to get the Discord popping, get people talking. And yeah, I have a very odd and open schedule. So I can play like at random times during the day. I run my own business outside of here. And typically I'm busy on, some nights and some weekends. But with that, people will be able to look at my calendar online and find a time where hopefully we can all get together. I just need 24 hours notice. And just to get the thumbnail. And I want to know, do you want to go into the Barrows? Do you want to take something off the job board, or do you want to explore one of the other regions on the map? And as long as I know which one of those three you want to do, I can get you set up really quick and have a fun and engaging adventure with that old school feel of finding and upgrading your own equipment. And like I've got guys who are grinding hardcore for XP, and really like excited about leveling up and finding new spells and finding treasure. And I'm working really hard right now to get everything from the Barrowmaze book imported into D&D Beyond. So folks will be able to add spells to their spell books directly from here using the homebrew system. All the monsters I'm putting in here as well, and getting tokens and tables set up and generated in Roll20. It's a very, very time consuming effort, but I think it's going to be worth it. And my next big project hopefully will be to get the Barrows set up in Tailspire, the 3D rendered VTT, but that's a lot of work. That's going to be an epic effort in its own right. I would definitely love to collaborate with some folks on that if people are interested. But there's a lot to be done here. I'm super excited at this, and I just love getting together with people and rolling dice and telling good stories. So I would love to have as many people as possible involved in this campaign. I do have a website that I've set up separate from mastermindadventures.com, where we are posting a scoreboard of sorts, basically sharing the names, classes, and levels of all of the players living and dead, or characters, not players, characters living and dead. Very important distinction there.
Yeah, no players will.
Yeah, no
be
players are
killed in
harmed.
the making of
Yeah, not.
Hopefully,
Hopefully not.
Mastermind. I was about
yeah.
part of Mastermind. I want to say no legal.
Yeah, exactly.
liabilities.
Yep.
We'll put a disclaimer on this. Yeah.
Good call, because the DM has misspoken, and that happens on occasion. But also there is a system of in West Marches campaigns that rewards after action reports or session reports, where players write up what their experiences were and share them. And I have a standing in-game reward where if you submit one to me, I will post it on the website, and if you post it in the Discord for your other players to know what's been happening in the world, you get an in-game reward of 25 gold and inspiration at the start of your next session on that character. So always trying to keep things, motivate people to really share information, keep the story going, and keep, like I'm going to be launching a series of subplots that are going to be kind of seasonal. Some of them will be shorter. Some of them are planning on happening for like at least a year. I'm outlining them out, involving various NPCs within the town. And this is going to be another one where, as people, different groups experience different parts of the stories and see it from different angles, because so and so took this contract, well, so and so did this favor for somebody else. They'll be able to hopefully collaborate, put the puzzle pieces together, and get a sense of the larger picture and what's going on in the region around them. And I should also say this: I am also planning on, at the culmination of certain plot lines, planning basically super sessions. I might even recruit multiple DMs to help me run these, to run multiple tables simultaneously, but super sessions where a special event triggered by player actions happens. And those will be something where I set the date and time and you sign up to participate. And those will be especially dangerous. Character mortality, likelihood of character mortality will be high, but the rewards will be truly epic, and the consequences will be, like earth shaking. So yeah, maybe something that they woke up for in the Barrows comes and attacks the town. Town is typically where safety is. You don't get attacked in town. There's no monsters to be had in town or anything like that. But on some occasion, you wake up the undead dragon sitting in the back of the dungeon. He might just, or they might just come out and just start breathing green fire all over the place. And there's got to be multiple tables to come and take it down. Like some really epic stuff, like old school raids in MMOs like WoW, or well, I'm an old school EverQuest guy, so I got out of MMOs before WoW was even a thing, but still remember my old raiding days with my guys on raiding Plane of Hate on EverQuest and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
I was gonna ask anyway. Getting sort of on a similar note, this is clearly something it's clearly something you're super passionate about. What was the inspiration for you to create this kind of campaign? Was it something you had in mind for a while that you wanted to try?
Honestly, like when I first joined Mastermind, I had a couple of ideas for campaigns and ongoing games. But what I realized was that I was having a lot of fun meeting lots of different people and playing with lots of different groups. And as much as I like I have a whole shelf of pretty much every 5e supplement right behind me, and down at my office at my business, I have all of my 3rd edition and 4th edition books, as well as a number of other game systems. I love doing the pre-written stuff. But I know that with my schedule being what it is, it's tricky for me to be able to meet the same group at the same time every week. I run a small performing arts center here in Los Angeles, so nights and weekends, sometimes my calendar's wide open, sometimes I'm kind of booked up pretty tight. But a West Marches game is appealing to me because not only do I get to play with a whole bunch of different people, but because there's no standing session for one group, it is very flexible for me to set up a to do a drop-in session or drop-out session as people are available and as they can match up on my calendar. If I've got a 4-hour block available on Tuesday from 4 to 8, book me. And like I said, this, because of all the tables and the random generation and everything else, it doesn't take me very long to prep a session. And like I said, I've got detailed notes on different plot lines and stuff like that, so being able to prep according to those themes, really simple. Yeah, it's so I love that, with I love just like the flexibility of the gameplay. And I always loved the old organized play from D&D Adventures League, and the similar Living Greyhawk and Living Forgotten Realms and all that stuff. I was big into that. I was actually at the first Gen Con SoCal back in 2003. I was a volunteer game master and ran modules all weekend long, all 3 days of the con. Like, I pretty much sat there and ran sessions, back to back to back to back, and had a blast. And so I've been doing this for a very, very long time, doing the organized play stuff. And yeah, the opportunity to do this here and get a group of players super passionate about this campaign world, yeah, I'm down for it. So maybe one day I will sit and run, Strahd or Witchlight or, one of these other campaigns, or maybe go old school and, update another older campaign like Against the Giants or something like that, and run that for 5e. As one of my passion projects at the moment, I'm currently working on taking the Red Hand of Doom, which was a 3.5 military campaign, and updating it to 5th edition as just kind of like a project I'm doing on the lark. So at one point maybe I can run that for people. But ideally, what I'd like to do is make that available on like DM's Guild or something like that, and let people grab that and use it to play. But yeah, no, the flexibility of a West Marches campaign is really what the big appealing thing is to me. And I do have a standing game on Monday nights. I do have a standing session that is streamed on Twitch. That doesn't always have to be just the same 5 or 6 people, or I get some rotating faces in and out, but it doesn't just have to be that same small group. If people want to jump on and stream a session, I'm happy to stream not on Monday nights, or if you want to play in the specific Monday night game, get to talking with the folks who are on there regularly and say that you want to get in on that group, and then you could play on stream with us on Monday nights from 7 to 10 Pacific. That's something that we're open to as well. And again, secretsofthebarrowmaze.com, we will be getting the sign-up forms live as of this weekend.
Yeah, well, so by the time this interview goes out, it will either probably be available or like very shortly available. Yeah. So we'll have all that information too in the description for this video.
Perfect. So yeah, so if this drops like after it's live, then yeah, check out secretsofthebarrowmaze.com. That'll take you to the sign-up forms on mastermindadventures.com. But on Secrets of the Barrowmaze, you can also get a real feel and description for what a West Marches game is, what a mega dungeon is. And I also have linked all of the necessary resources that you will need in order to sign up and play. You need to have your character on D&D Beyond, and there are certain character creation guidelines that are posted there. You need to have Beyond 20, which is a plugin for multiple browsers, Facebook, not Facebook, Firefox, Chrome, and I think it's on Safari now too. I could be wrong. And then of course Roll20, which is where we're playing the campaign right now. And eventually maybe we can get it to Tailspire, but that's a gigantic undertaking to be able to do a 300 room mega dungeon in something like Tailspire. Yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. I can't think of much else to cover at this point, other than
there is you have like an intro one shot too to
Barrowmaze. Yes.
I get into that, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I actually should mention this. If you've never played D&D before, and this is intriguing to you, or if you just want to kind of dip your toe into the campaign world here, and just I have a free introductory session, a free 2-hour adventure. It is set in the village of Helix in the Duchy of Eric, and you are dealing with the local the resident wizard Mazis, and it's called The Mystery of Mazis Shed. Poor Mazis has it's springtime. He's needed to do some spring cleaning, and he hasn't been down in his shed in a while. And he's opened up the door and is like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this myself. So he put out a contract saying, hey, I'll pay somebody to go clean out my shed. And it's it may sound like very mundane work, but when you're dealing with a wizard's with anything that has to do with a wizard, nothing is ever what it seems. So yeah, you never know what kind of treasures and traps lie within. And just like Doctor Who and the TARDIS, this shed is much bigger on the inside. So
great. So for that, for all of Greg's games, go to secretsofthebarrowmaze.com. Check out also Mastermind's website. We'll have again all that in the description. You can also email me at krichman@mastermindadventures.com if you have any questions about any of our games with Greg, with any of our other fantastic GMs. Just send me an email. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Greg. This was
my pleasure, Kaylee.
Super interesting.
Awesome.
I feel like we barely scratched the surface of but that makes sense when there are 300 plus.
Well, and you can and for at least the next couple of months, you can get on Mastermind's Twitch on Monday nights from 7 to 10 Pacific and watch my friends most of the members of the Brute Squad and some of their friends and significant others go delving into the Barrows with me. So you can get a real sense of what's going on down there, and get a feel for it by watching that. Also, I am embedding all of the videos, the archive videos of our prior delves on YouTube, or on YouTube, and embedding them on the Tales from the Barrows blog on secretsofthebarrowmaze.com. So if you actually want to not just read the after action reports, which are delightfully in character for these for these large than life characters, you can also watch the sessions in their entirety from the stream. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Greg. Thanks
My
everyone
pleasure.
for watching. Take care. Play some games.